Hey there, XRP family. Welcome back to the XRP Insider channel. It's absolutely fantastic to have you here with me again. I hope you're crushing it today, no matter where you are in this amazing world of ours. Today, we're diving deep into some seriously exciting XRP developments, and I've got to kick things off with this absolute gem from James. He said something that made me stop in my tracks. At this point, you might as well buy XRP instead of Bitcoin. And you know what? I'm 100% on board with that statement. Here's the thing. Even the most hardcore Bitcoin maximalists are starting to wake up to the reality that XRP might just deliver those massive returns they've been chasing. Let's talk numbers for a second. If you're buying Bitcoin above $100,000 right now, what are you realistically looking at? Maybe a 2x return if you're incredibly lucky? Honestly, I think Bitcoin's going to peak somewhere between $140,000 and $150,000 before reality hits and it comes crashing back down. But here's where it gets really interesting. Digital asset treasuries, or DATs as the cool kids are calling them, have absolutely exploded this year. And guess what's happening this week? We've got Evernode's CEO Ash, Go Blue, and the legendary Joel Katz sitting down with Michael Orrington to break down what's coming next for Evernode, XRP, and this whole DAT phenomenon. This is all happening live at Ripple's Swell. And folks, I cannot even begin to tell you how pumped I am for this event. The announcements coming out of this conference are going to be absolutely game-changing. Now, here's something that really got my attention. David made this brilliant point about how current systems are basically just elaborate taxation schemes. He's talking about how these ratios become meaningless when they're so tiny, and how every transaction becomes an opportunity for middlemen to take their cut. But here's what David said that really resonates with me. I really want to believe there's room in the market for one system that's fundamentally different, where there really are no middlemen. And when Alice wants to transact with Bob, there isn't an army of people trying to profit from their transaction. And that's exactly what XRP delivers. Think about it. XRP is the only way to pay fees on the XRP ledger. It's the only asset with zero counterparties. Any account can hold it. It has no jurisdiction limitations. It's automatically bridged on the DEX. This was Ripple's vision from day one. Cut out all the middlemen. Why? Because that's where all the fees come from. And that's what makes transactions painfully slow and expensive. Let's be real here. Swift is completely broken. And literally everyone in the financial world knows it. But here's the kicker. They're still making money off this broken system. So why would they want to change? But imagine this. What happens when you can transact in seconds for less than a penny with zero middlemen? How do traditional banks keep making money? They'll have to completely reinvent their business models because this change is inevitable. People are fed up with the current system. They want speed, they want low costs, and they want security. Ripple has built the alternative to Swift that everyone's been waiting for. Someone mentioned that Solana isn't on the same level as Ripple, and honestly, I completely agree, but probably not for the reasons you think. First off, and this is just facts, Solana goes down more often than my internet connection during a thunderstorm. Meanwhile, Ripple is targeting trillions of dollars in cross-border payments, while Solana is still playing in the billions. Ripple isn't just building for the future. They're building the future of the entire financial system. Solana? It's not even going to be part of the conversation when the new financial infrastructure is complete. Now, let's talk about some breaking news that's got people talking. The 10th Circuit Court just ruled against Custodia Bank in their fight with the Federal Reserve. It was a 2-1 decision, siding with the Fed. So what does this mean for Ripple and XRP? Here's my take. It's not a roadblock, but it is a reality check. The ruling basically confirms that the Federal Reserve has complete discretion to deny master accounts to non-traditional banks or crypto-linked institutions. In simple terms, crypto banks can't force their way into the Fed's payment system. But here's the thing. This doesn't change Ripple's game plan at all. They're building something bigger than the traditional banking system anyway. Now here's the key that everyone's missing about this Custodia ruling. Ripple doesn't even need a master account. Think about it. Ripple's payment network runs through licensed, insured banking partners who already have that access. Ripple isn't trying to become a bank. They're upgrading the banks. This ruling mainly affects up-and-coming trust banks like Custodia, not Ripple's broader ecosystem at all. Ripple will keep expanding globally using their partners' Fed access in the US and their own licenses abroad. In short, Custodia's loss doesn't equal Ripple's setback. Ripple's model still works perfectly and actually gains leverage as others get boxed out. Now, that doesn't mean the Fed is automatically going to deny Ripple a master account either. Maybe Ripple will just get pushed through. We've seen that happen multiple times before. But I'm sure Custodia Bank won't be too happy if that happens. Speaking of momentum, RLUSD just debuted on Bitpanda, expanding the reach of Ripple's stablecoin even further. We're watching this thing launch on exchange after exchange, gaining serious momentum all around the world. And Paul Barron dropped this bombshell observation: XRP plot twist. Is this what Brad Garlinghouse was working toward all along? Here's what's happening right now that's absolutely mind-blowing. Every major bank is racing to launch their own stablecoin, while Swift is desperately pitching, quote, neutral rails. But the reality? JP Morgan, Bank of America, and others are building consortium stablecoins. We've got ING, Union Credit, plus 6 others working on a euro stablecoin by 2026. Bank of America's CEO literally said, "We're ready to launch once regulations clear." But here's the thing banks don't want to admit. They don't want neutral infrastructure. They want control. But more proprietary systems equals more fragmentation. Think about it. JP Morgan coin, Bank of America coin, Eurobank coin. Who's going to bridge all these walled gardens? This is exactly why XRP exists. I've been telling you this the entire time. They can launch all the stablecoins they want, but they're still going to need a bridge. Nobody wants Bank of America coin other than Bank of America. Same thing with JP Morgan coin, Citicoin, and all the rest. Even if they come up with one unified stablecoin between these banks, they still have to transact outside of those banks. So whenever they want to send their stablecoin anywhere else, they're going to need a bridge currency. This was always the end game. And I think Brad Garlinghouse saw this coming from miles away. He was preparing for this moment long before anyone else even realized what was happening. That's why we have XRP. Jim Cramer called XRP a con at 38 cents.
We put up XRP and Solana and Dogecoin. Those are all, I believe, cons. I mean, if we think that the XRP slash USD coin is something that we should be following, well, I mean, we should be following, we should put up like Rent the Runway and Stitch Fix up there. I mean, honestly. I just find it's just a random group of things that we put up, and that I question that because I'm busy trying to find how to make money for people, and I don't want to try to figure out how to lose money for people.
You know what they say, always bet against Jim Cramer. But seriously, when XRP was sitting back at 50 cents, I was telling people time is running out. Time is running out because we really didn't know when it was going to explode. Same thing applies right now. We don't know exactly when the next massive breakout is going to begin, but we all know it's coming. Anyone who's been in crypto for more than 5 minutes knows another breakout is inevitable. This run is not over, despite what everyone's pushing right now. Every single time the market goes sideways, people start screaming, alt season is canceled, or the 4-year cycle is done. I actually agree that the 4-year cycle is ending, but I think it's ending in a completely different way than what people expect. Here's my theory. We're on the verge of utility driving these cryptocurrencies, and that's going to change the 4-year cycle forever. Imagine if we had a utility-driven run starting in 2026. Nobody knows how long that could last. It could go all the way up to 2028 or beyond. When real-world adoption and utility start driving prices, instead of just speculation and market cycles, all bets are off. We really don't know what's coming because we've never seen a utility run before. So how is that going to affect the traditional 4-year cycle? Here's what I think. Money's not going to pour into Bitcoin anymore. Not when you have something that's being utilized all around the world. That's just going to push Bitcoin into irrelevance, and people are going to end up transacting over these other networks instead. It's inevitable. Right now, the whole Bitcoin narrative is buy Bitcoin and hold it forever. Never sell your Bitcoin. But now they're packaging it in a much different way. Could the debasement trade be the biggest Bitcoin narrative for 2026? Here's what they're saying. Bitcoin's core thesis aligns with the debasement trade, a shift away from fiat and bonds towards scarce assets like Bitcoin and gold amid growing distrust in government-backed money. Now, I always tell people you definitely want to hedge against the US dollar, because the dollar is constantly losing purchasing power. But even Bitwise's Matt Hogan called the debasement trade a theory. Take notice, he's calling it a theory, and said it's gaining steam and will be popular into 2026. But there's already a massive problem with this theory. What do Bitcoin holders do when they want to cash out? They're cashing right back out into US dollars, unless they plan on holding that asset forever, which is exactly the narrative behind the debasement trade. It's buy it, hedge against the US dollar, and never, ever sell it. The idea is that somewhere down the road you'll be transacting in Bitcoin because it's going to be adopted everywhere. But here's what we already know. Bitcoin is not going to be part of the new financial system. We already know it's not going to get global adoption for payments. So, what happens? You're going to be buying Bitcoin while these early holders are selling it off, and you're going to get stuck hoping it gets back to a level where you can finally exit your investment profitably. To me, the debasement trade is just a new narrative so that people like Jack Mallers sound smart when they're talking on CNBC. Oh, it's all about the debasement of the US dollar, breaking away from the US dollar. And sure, that is a great idea, but you want to put your money into something that's actually going to change the world. And that's what XRP is about to do. It's about to change the entire world. Everything is already shifting into full digital, and you're always going to need a bridge currency. Whether you're dealing with real-world assets, RWAs, stablecoins, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, even fiat currency in its current form, it can all be bridged using XRP. That's why when you hold this cryptocurrency, you're literally holding the future. But I hate this hold forever mentality. It's the same trap as traditional banking. I always tell people never store your money in the bank, because the bank is never going to make you rich. When you're getting a fraction of 1% on your money, how are you ever going to build wealth? You're not. It's just not going to happen. Even if you store your money in a savings account, that money is still losing value every single day, because the US dollar continues to devalue every single day. It's the same reason I tell people, if you're going to sell your entire bag during this run, at least cash it out into a stablecoin that offers yield. This way, you're still earning on that money, instead of cashing out into US dollars and going on a massive shopping spree. But everybody has their own game plan, and I respect that. The one thing I know for certain is we are still going to see an alt season, and we are going to make a hell of a lot of money very soon. But until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you. If this video opened your eyes to the bigger picture of where this market is heading, smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights that you won't get anywhere else. I'll see you in the next one, XRP family. Keep holding strong. Our time is coming.